You can share and then I'll be.
Let me try and get that. Okay. Awesome. Oh God. Can people see my screen? Assuming probably.
Yes.
Yes. We can see everything. No, I'm joking.
Mhm.
Can people see that?
Yes. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm not feeling well, so my voice may be a little rusty, but we set up a presentation to share with everyone what we have achieved so far in this project with Transcript and Ali. The title of our presentation is Optimizing Large Language Models for Financial Analysis. And Castello is the artificial intelligence tool that we've been working on together to implement financial analysis. As you can see at the very top, we have the screenshot of what its logo looks like. It's still in its beta format, which means it's still being refined with time. And then we, as a group, our project manager was Ali, and then it was me and Tolu and Matt were working together. Next slide. Next slide.
Sorry, I just didn't refresh. Are you good? Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay, so this is the content of our presentation. We're going to talk about the project background information so you know what was going on, goals and objectives, training large language model, sentiment analysis in finance, an activity that we actually did applying what we were learning through this project stock selection process, assessing Castello's performance, how we were able to, what metrics we chose in saying, okay, it's good at performing this or it's bad at performing this, differentiating Castello through its vision. So this is all about what sets Castello apart from other artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT, Bloomberg GPT, whatever else. Mergers and acquisitions case study, which is the last project within the project that we were working on, and then thank you and questions and answer Q&A. Okay, so the project background information. So let's start with oh, that's wrong. It's 2020. Transcript was established in 2020, not 2010. I don't know why that says 20, but it's a pioneer. It pioneers blockchain solutions for background checks, ensuring secure and efficient verification processes. And right now, through this project, it's expanding its horizon by venturing into AI-driven financial analysis via Castello, promising transformative insights in the world of finance. So it attracted me for particularly because I have taken a blockchain class before, and I took another blockchain project. So that was interesting. And then once we learned that we were going to actually engage in artificial intelligence applications to finance, it got even more interesting. So talking about the shift towards AI for financial analysis, it is evident that different industries, particularly in the world of finance, are trying to see what they can do with artificial intelligence. Big companies like JP Morgan, fintech companies, like different properties that artificial intelligence brings to the table that can be useful not just in the back end, but for the end consumers. These are things that they're considering. So that's why we think this project is of much importance. And then an overview of Castello. Castello is a financial analysis tool, much like how you think of ChatGPT, but ChatGPT's general purpose, right? You can ask it all sorts of questions, and it will be good at responding to a lot of them based on how it's been trained, right? But Castello it specializes in financial analysis. So what you see there is a screenshot of a sample question that we had asked it, right? If you've taken fixed income class, that's like an example of a question that you'd find in an exam, right? And obviously that would be useful when you're actually working in that area. So this is just a sample question and how it responds, its interface, what it looks like. And then looking into the importance of human insights, the role of SMEs, subject matter experts like Matt, Tolu, and me in teaching financial intelligence, Castello, and enhancing its capabilities. It's not necessarily teaching financial intelligence to Castello, right? Because it's provided with different data sets that are fed into it to say, okay, when this happens, this is how you're going to respond. This is the thinking process, right? For how you're going to give the response to whoever is asking, querying and asking you the questions. But our role is more like, okay, how can we improve? First, starting with the interface. If we are asking for a presentation of data on the movement of stocks in a specific industry, this is what we want it to look like. Or if we are asking questions from beginner level to expert level of finance, say this Castello is used by a big bank, right? That says, okay, instead of going straight to like customer service, perhaps you can access our chatbot, ask it any questions. So depending on what kind of a person you are, this is how Castello should be able to respond. Whether financial expert means you'll be responding with jargon, or if it's like a beginner level, this is how you're supposed to digest information and give it back. Next slide. Okay, yeah, the goals and objectives. So these are big words, but let me explain. Augmenting decision-making capabilities. We were to learn how to integrate artificial intelligence into financial analysis to empower us as MFE students to make informed decisions by providing deeper insights and analysis, right? That's, like I mentioned earlier, how should Castello reach a final decision when given a set of queries based on the advice that we give to Ali and his technical team. Enable continuous learning and improvement, train and refine Castello to ensure adaptability to evolving market conditions and the incorporation of new data sources. Right, sometimes with time things change, right? There are wars, there are regulations that are implemented in various finance industries like crypto and such. So let's learn how we can, when we are giving feedback through the feedback loop, how can we inform the team that this is what should be taken into consideration, but based on what we have learned in our field of MFE and the experience we've accrued, perhaps in internships and other projects and such. Promote interdisciplinary collaboration, collaborate between financial engineers, data scientists, domain experts in harnessing the full potential of Castello. This, like last time we spoke to their machine learning expert who is here in the meeting today, who gave us insights into the back end engineering part of it, because we were working on the prompt engineering where it's like, okay, these are the queries that we have. How can we get the optimal answer to the question that we have, right? Without having to deal with things like hallucination, but how can you get to the answer that you are looking for? Well, and then empower users with actionable insights, empower users with these insights derived from sophisticated AI-driven analysis. Next slide. Okay, so training the large language model is two parts. There's back-end engineering and data science, and then there's the subject matter experts, which is us, the students. So data collection and preparation, if you've attended one of the machine learning classes, training and data sets and testing the data sets. Then we have model training and testing, implementation of augmented generation. I forgot what R stands for.
A retrieval augmented generation.
Yes, retrieval, and then continuous improvement. You iterate, right? With this feedback loop, that's what you're going to improve. And then for subject matter experts, prompt engineering, the kind of queries that we're asking, how should we ask them? Being concise, providing context, providing domain expertise in various areas, validation and insight generation, and user experience enhancement by commenting on the user interface and things like that. Next. Okay, sentiment analysis case study. So this is not really a case study, but it's how the first task that we were engaged in this project. So yep. So we had to look at FOMC reports and give our own take on what we thought sentiment analysis would look like. As a human being who is a financial engineering student and must have some good knowledge of finance and economics and how the Fed provides information when they release their reports. So we obtained FOMC report for meetings in the past, and we reviewed them with sentiment scientists. Okay, when he says this, what does he mean? We don't think we are going to be increasing the federal funds rate in the next 3 months. What does that mean? Is he alluding to something? Sentiment classification, hawkishness versus dovishness, text identification, labeling. Okay, this means this is hawkish. This means it's dovish. This means they want to slow down the economy or to the opposite of slowing down the economy. Yeah.
Stimulate.
Yeah, stimulate. And then the recommendation, giving the final response, like, okay, in general, this FOMC report of 2022 is saying the Fed is going to take this action. And then giving feedback to the team to say this is how Castello should think. Because artificial intelligence, it's intelligent. It can, when it receives information, it knows how to word it in a way that makes sense, but it can't think like us human beings, right? But if we provide our own thought process, it can veer towards that. Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'll go into a little bit about our stock selection case study, which again, I know basis was saying like they're not case studies, just like massive, I guess parts of the project that we were working on. And in this case, we're really focused on Castello's ability to kind of just like analyze and choose specific stocks based on like a variety of metrics and like questions you would ask it. So first, when we were kind of choosing the kind of process to have a stock chosen, we had a bunch of metrics which regarded around the investment process, data collection, risk profile, asset allocation, and recommendation. So first, when it came to the investment process, it was pretty much just about how do we enlighten clients about the actual investment process, then actually obtain the background information about the client, and then start to manage their risk profile by analyzing their various information and fit into the investment spectrum. And then once we have that, we can then start to determine what kind of like asset mix of a variety of stocks and as well as like bonds or like mutual funds that kind of meet the client's investment return and risk. And then due to that, we can actually kind of make that informed recommendation. And Castello can do that. So what we found was that there were just a variety of things that we still had to do that Castello really kind of had to focus on, which was the identification of trends and referencing of sources was kind of like two large ones that we found. Then when after that, we started to actually measure Castello's like ability to kind of assess these kinds of stocks. And we did that by looking at these 7 different metrics, which are the data, quality, and input handling, the analysis accuracy, the decision support, adaptability and learning, the user interface, ethical considerations, and then performance monitoring. So for each of them, we kind of like made a little like matrix based on like specific comments and things that we kind of made by looking actually at Castello and testing it with a variety of questions and answers that we would use. So kind of looking at how each of them, first when it goes to data quality, one of the things that we did kind of see was that there didn't seem to have enough that Castello didn't seem to have enough data. There are a lot of similar recommendations that were being made with similar stocks or decisions that we thought, okay, maybe there might be a little bit more to consider. The other thing was then looking at our actual analysis accuracy. There were many links and trends that were provided, but many times they were fairly vague. And then also on top of that, we would go into the adaptability. So I'll skip decision support for a quick second because it kind of coincides with this, where sometimes the links and trends kind of seemed outdated simply because it didn't account for certain policies or trends that had recently been adapted in the world. So due to that, we didn't know how accurate was that true data. Now going obviously the other metrics that I had to quickly just skip, which was decision support, it seemed to offer very informal recommendations one of the examples that I always kind of use was when asked the kind of like, okay, we have to learn to diversify. It wouldn't explain why or how it could. It just saying important to diversify. And I thought that was kind of just, okay, why? We'll kind of need to know a little bit more off that. Then going on to user interface, one of the things that we did notice that it obviously recommended similar follow-up questions. So usually we'd ask a question to Castello, and then off that, it would give us an answer, but then would also give us a bunch of recommendations. And sometimes the recommendations would either be the same, even though after you kind of click the same one, you then kind of would get the same variety of recommendations, or very kind of similar kind of recommendations given to you, which would make it kind of feel very redundant or repetitive. And thus, I didn't know how trustworthy it could be. Then going into ethical considerations, this was, I think that it did very well. It was very transparent about limitations and did ask that, hey, because of this, we ask you to do more research, which was obviously good on the AI's part to understand the limitation. And then when it goes to the accountability, it doesn't really issue a disclaimer to sources. So we thought there could have a bias preference.
So I'll be handling the aspect on differentiating Castello's performance through its vision. So on this task, what we had done was to compare Castello with other financial bots that are currently in the market. Matt, the next slide, please. Okay. So regarding the other bots in the market, we found out that there were other bots such as FinGPT, Bloomberg GPT, StockEdgist, and then we had a reference source. There's an AI for that, which gave us a list of other financial bots that are currently in the market doing all sort of things. So we reviewed Castello's objectives relative to that. At the beginning of the project, we had been informed of the objective being Castello will be a bot for financial to access financial information for financial decisions. So we compared that objective with other bots objective, like I'd mentioned earlier, FinGPT, Bloomberg GPT, StockGist. And then we found out that other competitors had like areas of focus. We had bots that were focused on stock analysis, stock price prediction, financial and stock markets, sentiment analysis, and other aspects of the financial spectrum. With that, we had to think of a possible vision for Castello, which was to narrow down its vision really to probably be a niche for financial analysis and recommendations, as well as personalized financial advice based on the tasks that we had been given. The task we were given prior to that was a stock selection process, and we just felt it might be better for Castello to follow that line really to be able to give personalized financial advice to anyone that was interested in investing in the stock market or any asset class for that matter. So that was our recommendation. That was our feedback. And then our recommendation based on that exercise was really for Castello to have question links or follow-ups such that if a user is using the bot, it will give them like a reference link to search for other information that will make it easier for them to get the kind of information it is they want for their investment. Okay. So the next task we're given was a mergers and acquisitions case study. We're given a case study for American Greetings to analyze the possibility of the company either being merged with another company or being acquired based on some financial decisions it is that the company had to face. So we used the bot to make an analysis for the company, and then we had searched for a reason for possible mergers and acquisition, which includes the acquisition being either strategic or financial. Then we went about using the bots to gather information, and the information we're trying to actually retrieve were information relating to cash flows, like cash flow from operations, cash flow from investments, cash flow from finance, so that we would use that in computing our free cash flows to the firm and free cash flow to equity, which will make it possible for us to value the company. We had also searched for metrics such as the EV EBITDA metrics and those of competitors, so we can do a comparative analysis for companies in the industry. And then we also search for information regarding synergy, such as OPEX consideration whenever there's an acquisition, supply chain advantages or integrations that can happen with regards to a merger and acquisition case. And based on that, we try to use the information to value the company. So we'll compare it vis-a-vis the target price and determine whether it's a good buy or not. Matt, the next slide, please. Right. So this is the process we use in analyzing Americans' greetings for a merger and acquisition case. We checked whether it was strategic or financial, data collection, company analysis, synergy calculations, and then company valuation. The next slide, please. Hello, Matt. Hello.
Yeah.
The next slide, please. Okay. So based on our findings in using Castello to perform a merger and acquisition transaction, we realized that there's a need to incorporate more information into the bot so as to be able to carry out a merger and acquisition transaction. And then we found instances of hallucinations in using the bot. And there's a likely need for fine-tuning of the prompts that will generate the financial metrics it is that we require to carry out an M&A transaction using Castello. So that concludes our exercise for the session so far. So we're open to